Welcome, everyone, to the Northeast Indiana Basketball Summit. I am your host, Ben Smith, joined by my co-host, Jeff Metzger. Before introducing our guests, we want to thank Feel for the Game for providing the platform to have all these presentations live and available for replay. You can check out all the resources over at feelforthegame.com. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Phil Martelli, Associate Head Coach, Michigan Basketball. Coach, I got a whole list of things here, but really two things that stood out to me is you've been coaching for 43 years. You've also been married for 43 years. Is that cool?
Well, you know, there's the part of that story is when we got married, my wife was actually coaching also. My wife is in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Her team won 3 national championships when she was playing at Immaculata College. And when we got married, I was a high school JV coach and she was a college assistant coach when it was a part-time job. So it's been in our blood. And 2 of my sons coach. My one son's at VCU, my other son is at Bryant. And my daughter is a school teacher, and she knows more than all of us, really.
I saw she was very accomplished, but are we going to talk more of the golden rules for practice, or what did you want to start off with?
I want to do some golden rules for practice, and I wanted to put some time in, and maybe I'll start with this thought. I think that everybody wants to talk about transition. You want to play at a certain pace, no matter if you're coaching boys or girls, if you're coaching 7th and 8th grade, or you're coaching college. Everybody wants to be in a situation where you want to play fast, and you want to score in transition. And so everybody's been raised to kind of do 3-on-2, 2-on-1 as a transition drill. Maybe you do 11-man fast break. You copy somebody else's transition drills. And I would just like to give some thought, cause a little thought here, and say that within your practice, if you ever go half-court offense against half-court defense, then I would encourage you to add in a segment where you go full court. So if Team A is going against Team B, and whatever happens on that play, let Team B go down in transition. You can work. It's part of a game situation that stares at us in practice. But what we all do is we concentrate on one side of the ball and we stop the action. And we're always yelling, hold up, hold up, hold up, rather than let people play in the flow of practice. So there's a way to practice your transition without doing a drill. I think you can also, I'm going to try to, I'm a real fan of 5 guys on the baseline. Doesn't matter by position, but 5 guys on the baseline, 5 guys on the foul line. Coach with the ball. Coach can put the ball wherever he wants. And now the O's go down the floor in transition. Whatever happens, the X team comes back. But I would continue it. I would let the O's go again and the X come again. So there's really 4 possessions of transition basketball. Now, in this drill, there's really 10 opportunities to work on transition. So whoever catches the ball, the guy in front of him can touch the line. And you could have a 5-on-4 with a trailer and then a 5-on-5 coming back. You can also have the outside guys touch one day. So the 2 outside guys touch, that's a drill. That's 2 days worth. The 2 inside guys touch, that's 3 days worth. The middleman only touches, that's 4 days worth. And then nobody touches, everybody gets back. That's 5 days worth of drills of transition. I'll get into how I would time it and score it, and all of that's important. And then the next week, you could do the exact same set Move your X's up to the box. People are always talking about, well, how do you check effort in practice? There's a way to check it. And you have 5 more drills. So now you've done 10 days worth of transition. You haven't done any 3-on-2, 2-on-1. And I have this opinion about 3-on-2, 2-on-1. We get everybody to stand in their spots, and that's not real. Nobody has tape of a point guard standing in the middle of the floor with the ball and the 2 guys on the outside lanes getting ready to run the floor. So I've been thinking a lot about in talking with a lot of coaches during this time about transition and how do you practice that. And the more and more I hear people talking about wanting to play with pace, and that takes skill. So I'm a big fan of playing that a little bit faster. So here's my thoughts on practice. I think everybody on this call, that coaching is what you do, but who you are as a teacher. And again, you might say, well, I have an AAU team and I get one day a week. I would still say you're a teacher. And that court is your classroom. So in the classroom, the teacher's in charge, and that's where we get in my opinion, that's where we have our value. The games are for the players. The games are like kids in school taking a test. So during a test, the teacher's not running around. A teacher is really measuring themselves. How did I deliver this information on how these young people do? So our practices are preparation for the test, which are the games. So I tell this story. When I was 22 years old, I was a head high school coach in a great league. And I was convinced that I was a genius. And you couldn't tell me anything about basketball because they told me I was the coach, so I was a genius. I had no script for practice. And our first practice was October 15th, 1979. And we would be doing one drill at this end of the floor, and we might be working on foul shooting, and I would be thinking about inbounds plays, and we would go to the other end of the floor. I had no script, no plan. We practiced 3 hours a day, no rhyme or reason to what we were practicing, and it was miserable. And those guys that played for me, they're now in their 50s. Every time I see them, I apologize to them because we didn't have a good year because they didn't have a good coach. And then that summer, I was trying to map out a plan, and I was unnerved because all I wanted to do was coach, and I wanted to coach in this high school league. And I talked to a friend of mine who's in the Basketball Hall of Fame by the name of Kathy Rush, who coached my wife in college. She asked to see my plan, and I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, well, what was your weekly plan? What were you trying to accomplish in a week? I said, I don't have a plan. She asked me for my checklist. Where's your defensive checklist? I said, I didn't have a defensive checklist. I knew you had to guard ball screens and you had to play some zone and had to guard out of bounds. But I didn't have a plan. And then she asked me for my daily practice plan, and I didn't have one. And we sat that whole summer and we went over and over and over. What would my script look like? So teachers have a lesson plan. Business leaders have an agenda for their meetings. We as basketball coach need scripts. And again, you could tell me I have a half a court for an hour, but just to eliminate wasted time, have a script, have a plan. And the other thing that it does, because so many people are so busy anymore, that having a consistent script gives you more comfort that you can plan a practice. So let's say the first 4 minutes of my practices would be a team drill. Then the next 4 minutes, individual defense. Then the next 4 minutes, transition. The next 4, and so every segment was based on really my high school experience of being 8-minute quarters. So we could cut it in half, and we did our drills in either 4-minute segments or 8-minute segments, sometimes 12-minute segments if we were going up and down. The consistent schedule gives you comfort and a template. It gives you a consistent template for your schedule and for your oldest players. Now, when you take into account what do you want to be? What do you want to be? So you say, okay, well, here's my script. What do I want to be? Well, I want to be a fundamental coach. I want to really make sure that my players are skilled. Okay? So show me your script where you're working on your fundamentals. We want to be a pressing team. Okay? Show me your script where you're working on your press. We want to be a zone team. Show me your script where you're working on your zone. We all get fooled in this game because we think, well, I can be good at everything, and you can't. You can't be good at everything. What is it? What are the 1 or 2 or 3 things? We want to be a really good shooting team. Then show me your script where you're doing a lot of shooting and different style shooting. We don't want to turn it over. Show me your script where you're working on that particular skill. So I thought this idea of a pie chart. So I draw that pie. And then I decide, well, what do we want to be? So this pie might be an hour practice. It might be a 2-hour practice. So if it's a 2-hour practice and you say, we want to be an offensive team, we want to be a defensive team. Okay, so you're going to do an hour of each. I'm okay with that. But in your offense, what do you want to do? Well, we want to be a skilled team. So in your pie, are you willing to give up 20 minutes of that hour to work on your skills? At the other end, defense. If defensively you want to be a press, well, we don't want to press a lot. Okay, well then maybe it's only a 5-minute segment. But the pie chart allows you to identify for yourself, what do you want to be? So if you're an offensive team, what's your transition look like? What does your secondary break look like? What's your skill workout look like? And that pie chart allows you to then transfer to your script and practice. In there, you want to have special situations. Are you somebody that likes special situations, baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, press break? So on your checklist of all the special situations that could come up in a game, you practice how to miss a foul shot, practice how to foul at the end of the game, practice how to recover a loose ball. All these special situations can then be, you might say, you know what, every Thursday, we're going to take this and we're going to work our special situations. Everybody on this call has been in this situation. End of game, you have to throw the ball the length of the floor. So I'm going to ask you as the teacher, do you know who the best player on your team is for throwing the length of the floor pass? And if we don't, then wasn't it worth 2 or 3 minutes just to figure out who that would be so that there's not the panic that sets in at the end of the game? So I'm going to start with a 2-hour practice, and you can move that whatever fits your circumstance. My goal would be to run 15 minutes of skill development and then an 8-minute shooting segment. Then I would take 25 minutes for defense, shell defense, individual defense, one-on-one defense, 25 minutes in a practice on defense. And then I would shoot again. Because I believe that as basketball coaches, we don't nearly shoot enough. We think that they're going to get in early, or they're going to get in late, or they're going to find a place. But we need to be responsible for them taking more and more shots. So I've practiced 15 and 8 is 23. 23 and 25 is 48. Shooting for 8. The second shooting, I would concentrate on foul shooting. That's 56 minutes of a practice. Then I would come back and I would take a 35-minute segment and I would do offense. So now you're at 50. You're at an hour and 33 minutes. I shoot for 4. Again, maybe a team competition shooting drill. And then we would do some form of competition at the end. Now, I will tell you right away, in my competitions, I'm not a scrimmage guy. I'm not first team against second team. Now, I'll mix and match, and we'll do different types of looks. We'll do 3 possessions, team A against team B against A against B, then we'll stop it. But we're not going to put 20 minutes up there and play. Maybe one day a week I would do that. And I would only do that on the weekends if you were a high school coach where you have a little bit more freedom. When you're tight with bus schedules and gym schedules and things like that, I would stick to like the competition being possessions in a game or situations in a game. So that's a suggestion for how to put your script together. So from that script, you would say, oh, you must have liked offense. And I do. I really do. I like offense. I think everybody competes and will guard, and we teach them. But I would rather score the ball. I think it's more fun for everybody when the ball goes in the basket. So a couple questions for your practice. Is there a clock in your gym? So if there's a clock in your gym, a big clock for the time of day, if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, you're blessed and you're fortunate. Because if you're not following a script, the players are watching that clock. And no matter how much they love playing basketball, they want to get out. They just want to leave. So if you don't have a script that is activity-based and there's a clock, you have a disadvantage in your gym. Are you able in your gym, and it could be a rec facility, it could be a auxiliary gym. In your gym, are you able to use your scoreboard and your clock? Because everybody, again, on this call will hold their players accountable for score and time on Tuesday and Friday when we play our games. But when do you practice that? And again, you might say, well, the score, I have a JV team and we don't, then I would suggest getting a stopwatch. Get somebody to help you, a manager, a kid that just wants to help out, and let somebody time the practice so that you don't run into what is a dreaded mistake in every gym in America, where we tell the kids one more time, let's do this one more time. One more time is basically you're breaking your trust with your players, because none of us have ever done it one more time. We always do it and do it and do it. So when they hear you say that, they lose a little bit of trust in you. So eliminate that. Eliminate that. One more time. It's like you're a kid and doing chores, and somebody says to you, well, why don't you cut that lawn one more time? No, I'm not cutting that lawn one more time. Use your clock and your score to keep you on track with your drills. So every drill in practice should be competitive. Every drill in practice should be timed. And if you can look and watch that clock and see the score, so can the players. And that will help them. When we talk about your drills in practice, obviously we all have a lot of time on our hands right now. But if you look at what you teach in practice, what drills you teach in practice, are they competitive? And how can you make them competitive? Are they symmetrical? And are they active? Is it engaged? So there can't be anything worse for a kid than to stand on a baseline with 10 other kids while one kid does a drill. We're way more creative than that. Use your baskets. Use your basketballs. Make it competitive. You might say, well, they're going to shoot just layups. Okay, great. How many did you make? And how many did Phil make and how many did Ben make? Or, oh, he missed one, so he has 5 push-ups or 3 push-ups or 2 jumping jacks. I don't care what that is, but you want to make sure that by using your scoreboard, using a clock and a score during practice, they're ready for game night. Remember, practice is to prepare them for the test, which is game night. You can't tell them on Friday night, how did you not know that there were 7 seconds left in the quarter if you haven't practiced that? If you are an assistant coach, or really if you're a head coach, either way, here's the question. If you're an assistant coach, how are you used during practice? What can you add? You're not just somebody there to hang out. If you're a head coach, how do you use the assistant coaches during practice? Assistant coaches, how many players did you touch during practice? Just with a word. In the world that we're living in today, the mental health of these young people, it's incumbent upon us. And we have them, they enjoy basketball. That's why they're with you. Some of their classes, they might struggle. They might not make a connection with the teacher, but with you, they have a connection. So get used to just a hello, just a check-in. Read their eyes. When you read somebody's eyes, you know what's in their heart. As a head coach, you can't watch everything. So I was just reading on Twitter this morning, Fran Fraschilla said, the master coaches can watch 10 players and know where all 10 need to be. And you kind of build up into that. So all of us, we're still growing. What are you watching? So if you're working on your zone offense, why not have an assistant coach working on your zone defense? Or maybe an assistant coach working on offensive rebound attempts? Whatever it would be, that's a person that wants to be in the gym with you. Make sure that they have a purpose and that they are part of the instruction. That whole idea of the village, it takes a village to build up one person. It takes a staff to build up a team. I'm going to ask you in practice to eliminate any use of a whistle. I just don't get it. And I would say you probably use a whistle because whoever you played for used a whistle. But again, Tuesday afternoon, you're playing. The players have to listen to your voice. They have to respond to your voice. In a societal way, you all know we're losing kids because of their listening skills. We need to help them get their listening skills back. And we can do that in practice. We're not out on a field. We're not out on a field. We're not in open space. We're in a confined area, and they should be able to hear us. And if we're not practicing that, what makes you think that that will happen with the pressure of the game? No matter what level, they all feel pressure. So eliminate the whistle. Eliminate from your vocabulary and also from your script in practice the idea of punishments, line drills, 17s. You're a basketball coach, not a track coach. Do there have to be consequences if it's competitive practice? Absolutely, there have to be consequences. There absolutely have to be consequences. But those consequences should be to get them a little bit better athletically, maybe push-ups, maybe sit-ups, maybe jump rope, maybe jump lines, maybe length of the floor ball handling. So if you can make them better athletically, or you can put a ball in their hands, then put the ball in their hands. But eliminate that idea of running and touching lines. It's just not, it's not instructional. They see it as punitive, and you don't really give a darn if they can run and touch a line in 27 seconds. Who cares? Can they play? Are they more skillful? Are they a better athlete for having been in your classroom? Then I would ask you, how do you plan on starting your practice? Right? It's one team's going out, one team's coming in. Somebody comes in to talk to you. How do you start your practice? And I do think that in today's world, elimination of wasted time puts you at another level in terms of a coach or a teacher, even as a parent. So my suggestion for starting practice is I would run a team drill that was timed and goal-oriented. So a team drill that's timed, goal-oriented. You're on the floor watching this drill. You see who's ready, who's not ready, who's bringing junk with them from their test, who's bringing something with them from home. You're not prying, but you need to know who's ready. So here's an example. The team's split in half. Half at one end, half at the other. The ball's in the middle. We're going to go length of the floor. The middle man's going to dribble the ball down the floor. Outside guys are going to run wide. We're going to have a coach on each baseline. As they dribble down, there are 3 instructions on this drill. Right, so you pass it to your right for a layup. You could say left, you pass it to your left, or you could say keep it. And on a keep it, the guy does a dribble move, or lady comes in and shoots the ball. This ball has gone that way. So their heads have to be up. They all get to go in the middle. It's not the same ball handling guard in the middle. And they're shooting layups for 4 minutes, the whole team. So what's your number? Right? You have to do it once and then figure out, okay, we can get we can get 38 in a minute. We can get 42. Then that's their goal. And in that 4-minute segment, you've worked on their skill. You've worked them together as a team. And you're checking everybody's temperature to see who's ready to go. If you're tied up, your oldest players or a parent or assistant coach knows how to start practice. So there's a lot of different ways you could do that. I think that in my office in Ann Arbor, I probably have 17 or 18 drills to start practice. What are you looking for? Energy, engagement. They're ready to compete. We already talked about that. And I should say this. If the drill is gold for 41 makes, and they fall short, it's the only part of my practice that I would repeat. We're going to do that again. You're not ready. Now, I wouldn't add, if practice was going to be 2 hours, I wouldn't make it 2 hours and 4 minutes because we had to repeat something. I would adjust on the fly. But they need to know that we're ready to go. I would ask you to look at your practices and decide how much talking are you doing. Now, I get it, younger group, but one of the things that we want them to do is to learn to talk on the floor. Practice is a great time to do that. So sometimes silence is golden during practice. Sometimes them having the responsibility of figuring it out will help you. It will definitely serve the purpose of growing their team ownership. All right, now drills. In your drills, you're looking for competition. Make them competitive. Player against player, half the team against half the team, the whole team versus the standard. I would suggest to you that you name your drills. It adds to your efficiency in practice. So if your drill is going to be Hoosiers, right? Doesn't have to be that it came from Indiana, but that's, you know what that drill is, and your players, after you introduce it, they know what it is. I would ask you, beg you, to look at your timing of drills. Don't leave it open-ended. Think about your games, 4 8-minute quarters. So why not do drills in 4 minutes or 8 minutes or 12 minutes? Time pressure on us is very good. Just think about those that have been in the classroom. That bell's going to ring in 50 minutes. You have to get what you want to present done in 50 minutes. So timing our drills and timing our practice is the same thing as what's happening in the best classrooms. The other thing that by timing your drills and knowing the segments, it shortens your time for planning practice because you have a template in front of you. Drills, and I'm big on this. I just ask you, how much shooting are you doing in practice? And when you do it, is it competitive? I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been in a gym since I was 12 years old, so 50 some years. I don't know what it means to be game speed. I don't know what that means. I just don't know what it means. And do I say it? Yeah, I say it. But You and I both know that practice speed is different than a game speed, but we also know what it looks like. So you have to trust your eye. So when they are shooting, make your shooting drills competitive. Player versus player, half the team versus half the team versus a standard. Please, 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 please have a meeting with your families when you've selected your team, and please beg the fathers to not yell out the following: follow your shot. That's the worst information we could give a young player. Because think about it. I raise up to shoot. I should be thinking the ball is going in, not I better follow this shot. The other thing is, if you shoot a jump shot and somebody yells to you, follow your shot, what are the other 8 guys? One guy's guarding you. You've taken the shot. The other 8 players are attempting to get the rebound, either the offensive rebound or the defensive rebound. You can't tell them to follow a shot. Doesn't make any sense. It's the worst information that we give young players. Whatever kind of offense you're going to run, those are your shooting drills. So I get it. Everybody wants to do 3-man, 2-ball drills because they saw that somewhere. But if your offense is predicated on getting them shots out of the corner off of a screen down, then there's your shooting drill. How long? What do you want to do? 8 minutes? Fine. Do 4 minutes this way. You have a passer, shooter, hit, takes a shot. Don't follow your shot. Get back in line. So 3, 4 guys coming out of that corner. Guys on this corner, that corner. You have everybody in the gym working and taking shots. Going against the goal. 3-man, 2-ball. I guess that has a place, but is that part of your offense? Do you play inside out? So do you want to put the ball on the block and throw it out? Are you a swing team where you're going to swing the ball from one side to the other? Then that's your shooting drills. Take what you do offensively and make that part of your shooting drills. I'm going to beg you in your shooting drills also to think about this. Layups. Different kind of layups. Different style of layups. Do you want a 2-step stop, power layup? Do you want to finish on the other side of the rim? Do you want to finish with your inside hand? So why not give everybody a ball, start them at half court, opposite side of the floors. They dribble in, they make a dribble move, and now they go in and finish. Every layup can't be a fast break layup. Every layup that you practice can't be 2 lines warming up before a game. That's not real. So make your layup shooting part of that skill development and practice, but it's also part of your offense. Here's a shooting drill. Half the team. Top of the key extended. X has the ball. O comes to the middle of the floor. Shoots his ball. Passer rebounds. Throw back and get back in line. Ready? How many minutes? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, twos, change lines. Everybody gets shots. Hey, stretch it. So now you're 3-point shooters. 2 minutes. That's a 4-minute drill. And now you switch the ball from one side to the other. You go 2 more minutes. So you do an 8-minute shooting drill. Everybody passes. Everybody shoots. One end of the gym against the other end of the gym. You can get 6 kids, 6, 12. You could do 16, 18 kids involved, JV and varsity, 9th grade team, boys, girls, doesn't matter, at your camp. They can get their shooting drills done by showing Princeton. That's called Princeton for me, because a friend of mine, when he went to see Princeton practice, that's what he came back with. On the layup drill, half the group going to this basket, half the group going to this basket. 5 types of layups. Fast break layup, power layup, opposite side, 2-foot pull-up, and a floater. And again, we're going to try to get these done in 45 seconds. Style of layups. Is it competitive? Yes. How many makes you have at this end? How many makes you have at that end? Everybody's working on their skill. Halfway through the drill, switch sides. Now you're working on their opposite hand. There's competition there. So you might say to yourself, well, what's the consequence? 5 push-ups. Let's keep it moving. Let's just keep it moving. Transition, we talked about that early to start this. 5 on the baseline, 5 on the foul line, touch the line. But I'm going to beg you to think about possession 1, team A on offense. Possession 2, team A on defense. Possession 3, team A on offense. Possession 4, team B on offense. Score it. And again, what's important to you? We want to play with no turnovers. Then count turnovers during that drill. And again, is there a consequence? Sure, it's 2 push-ups for every turnover for the whole team. There's a score on the board. These possessions matter. So at the end of 4, 6, 8 minutes of that drill, the score could be 21-13. All right, so what do you want to do? You want to do losing team 1 minute on jump ropes? You want to do losing team 1 minute full court layups? So transition to me is not 3-man weave. It's not 5-man weave. Because I'm not sure if anybody has offense anymore where you're weaving and going behind. So take basketball and add that in as a transition. Everything that you want in your transition must be competitive. And whether it's a kid helping you out, if it's a 9th grader there to watch varsity practice, whatever it would be, stat what's important to you. So are missed layups important to you? Then stat that. Are turnovers important to you? Then stat that. But, and not over, you don't have to get overly analytical about it, but it's important. So now you deliver the message to your players that way. If you scrimmage during practice, I'm just going to ask you, what are you trying to accomplish? What is it that you want to do in your scrimmage? Is it your starters against your backups? Then I would ask you right now, don't you know what's going to happen? So you expect that your starters would dominate your backups. If that doesn't happen, then you get a sour taste in your practice. And remember where I'm talking about competition. Competition for me, practice-wise, is at the end, the last 20 minutes of practice. So you've built up this hour and 40 minutes, 100 minutes of terrific practice, and you let it go because the scrimmage didn't come out the way you want. When you go to play, though, don't stop it. So if A is going against B and you commit to possessions, possession 1, A against B. Possession 2, B against A. Possession 3, A against B, and then stop it. But if you go A versus B and the kid messes up the blue play and you stop it, then they're used to you stopping during games and you don't have that many timeouts. So if A is going against B, let it be. Let it go. B against A, then make your corrections. If you want to go 3 possessions, you want to go 5 possessions, whatever you're comfortable with, let it go a little bit. But if you're just flat out scrimmaging, just tell me what you want to accomplish. If you want to go against your starters, against your backup guys, what if you did it situationally? 2:12 left in a game, up 4. 1:57 left in the game, down 3. How about if that worked out? But one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is to let it go a little bit. Don't be stopping every single play in practice. A big deal to me is foul shooting. I love pressurized foul shooting during the practice itself. So I'm going to try to explain 2 games to you. Envision your gym. Everybody's at a gym. They have a guy shooting or a lady shooting with them. And I walk to the foul line. I'm going to take 5 foul shots. If I miss the foul shot, I get 0 points. If I make it and it hits the rim, but goes in, I get 1 point. If I make it and it swishes, but doesn't roll back to me, I get 2 points. If I make it and I swish it and it rolls back to me, I get 3 points. I'm going to take 5 shots. The most I could score would be 15 because I made all 5 and they all swished. If you make all 5 shots in that drill, you get a bonus of 5. So the most you could score would be 20 points. Phil shoots, Ben shoots. What happened? I had 19, he had 16, he owes 5 push-ups, and we keep going. We're only going to shoot for, like I said, 4, 6, 8 minutes. Right. Now the next day you go back. By the way, that's called swish. That swish game is fabulous at camps. Fabulous at camps. Next day you go back. We're struggling a little bit with our pressure foul shooting. So today we're going to play net. Exact same scoring system. 1, 2, 3 on makes, 5-point bonus. But today, to add the pressure, if you miss a shot, you minus a point. First shot, swish, 3. Second shot, miss, 2. Next shot, swish, doesn't roll back to me, 4. So I'm 2 for 3 from the foul line. I have 4 points right now. And now my partner shoots. 2 different games, still pressure foul shooting, individual against individual. At the back end of practice, I said there will be like a 4-minute segment for foul shooting. Then I would do team. And here's just a thought for you with team foul shooting. One end of the gym, the other end of the gym. Each end of the gym is going to shoot 33 foul shots, 2 at a time. 2 and rotate, 2 and rotate, 2 and rotate at this end, 2 and rotate, 2 and rotate at this end. So they get to a 33 total. What's an acceptable percentage for you? So when I was in the Atlantic 10, 75% would have led the league every year. So we expected them to make first the standard, 25 for 33. So this end of the gym, 25 for 33. They beat the standard. This end of the gym, 23 for 33. So you lost to this end, 5 push-ups. You lost to the standard, 5 push-ups. And then we add this one. Were there any double misses? So now the pressure on your poorer foul shooters is not to miss twice. Because now this team could have 2 double misses, right? Back-to-back misses. Back-to-back misses. And you could say, all right, 2 double misses, that's 4 push-ups. You lost 5 push-ups. You lost to the standard 5, but they owe you 14 push-ups, 14 sit-ups, 14 line jumps, whatever the consequence that you come up with. 33. It's a terrific foul shooting competition. Now you want to go next level on 33? Every time I step up to the line, it's a 1-on-1. So if I miss the first, I'm 0 for 2. And my team is 0 for 2. And now I have a double miss on my books. It's a beautiful way to practice pressure foul shooting without that everybody stand on the baseline and let's see if Joey makes it. If Joey misses, we're all going to run. Drills. Stance and shuffle. How do you feel about it? What do you like to use? How do you like to use it? Are you a guy that stands with his whistle and lets them slide all over the floor? I don't know what you're accomplishing. But you need to work on it. So here's what you do. Put them 3 in a lane. 3 in this lane. 3 in this lane. 3 in this lane. All over the floor. And all they're doing is sliding and sliding and sliding for 30 seconds. And they're competing against themselves. How many did you get in 30 seconds? I got 16 lane slides. All right, good. So tomorrow we expect you to get 17. Then the next day you want to do stance and shuffle, you do the same thing, and you make them challenge each other. That wears out. Then put them here. Let them drop, step, and slide, retreat, recover. Drop, step, and slide, retreat, recover. Again, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And you could do that a couple times. You could do 30 seconds, take a break, 30 seconds. But that's a way to do competitive lunges and slides. Do you play one-on-one every day in practice? As basketball coaches, we must acknowledge one-on-one is the best drill that we have. There is no other drill that will address their individual offensive skills, their individual defensive skills, their conditioning, and their competitive instinct. There's nothing There's nothing that we have one-on-one. I'm not talking about park one-on-one. I'm not talking about walking to the foul line. I'm talking about live action one-on-one. So I'll give you one that they all love. Coach is here with the ball. They're working the same thing at this end. These two kids slap hands. Touch half court. Touch the baseline. He runs out. He runs back. Coach, you deliver the ball when you want to deliver it. And now they play. Limited number of dribbles. Limited number of space. Limited space. And it's competitive. On that drill, on that segment, somebody's going to win, score, or maybe you're counting stops. Somebody's going to get a stop. We go for 4 minutes. After they go once, they change lines. They play it again. There is multiple ways to play one-on-one. You're working their skills. You're working their competition. You're working their conditioning. One-on-one, not walk to the foul line like so many guys will say, well, park one-on-one. No. It's not your rest of your team is standing on the baseline, two kids are playing. But it's live. It's movement. Slap and go is a way. We have them run around chairs and play one-on-one. There are some days where they play opposite hand one-on-one. But every day, commit to playing one-on-one. And again, for 4 minutes. And where does it fit in practice from the original? It fits in practice with your skills, your skill segment. But give serious thought to one-on-one. And if you're working with young people in the off season, it's a tremendous way. Rather than say, okay, we're going to go in and we're going to shoot for 40 minutes. Play one-on-one. And if you're encouraging your best player, have your best player go seek somebody out who's better than them, older than them, stronger than them. It's a great way to develop their game. And then my final thought on practice would be this. I know everybody wants to run their plays. And I know that everybody wants to run their defense. What part of your practice are you dedicating to making them better players? And the only way that I know to do that is skill development. So what do you have? You're creative. What's the classroom teacher in math have? They're not just doing math problems for a 40-minute class period. There are a variety of ways for them to develop their math skills. We can do and should do the same thing in basketball. Skill development is not taking away from your team. And I get it. You have an hour a week and you think, well, in that hour, I have to get everything in, because we're playing a big tournament this weekend. I understand and I respect you for that. But can't you give it 6 or 8 minutes where they can do stuff with the ball? They can work their skills and a kid could go home and say, you know what? I'm a little bit better. I've improved a little bit because of the way that we practice. Just like the math teacher wants them to be a little bit better at math because of the way the lesson was presented. So I'm huge on practice. I just have always been enamored with practice, and that's coming 7 years as a head high school coach and then 24 years as a head college coach. I prided myself on practice being organized, being competitive, and being directed for the player's development. No one wants to follow someone that doesn't know where they're going. That's what your script and your plan will allow for you to do. I am really appreciative that Ben reached out. I believe that all of us need to be thieves. We need to steal from each other. We need to share with each other. And that's exactly why I took this opportunity. If there's any way that I can help or support anything that you're doing, Ben has my contact information. I'll be glad to do that. I should have started with this, but thank you for what you're doing for these young people. You're teaching them a game that you love, and you have all of my admiration. We need this young group. We need young people to know that we care and to be able to allow us to share with them. So thank you for this opportunity to share with you. And Ben, I don't know format wise, if somebody could ask a question, can they ask you a question or how?
Yeah, I was going to ask my buddy Jeff, my co-host, if he had any questions. He usually formulates a couple good ones for the end, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah, hey Phil, that was a great presentation. A lot of what you said, I'm definitely going to incorporate in my practices from now on. What I wanted to ask you though is, who is the biggest influence in your life?
Oh, there's no question. It was my mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
They taught me about respect. They taught me about communicating, that it was important to be able to listen and to share. And in basketball, it's been everybody that I've come in contact with. I've taken something from the positive. Maybe there's something that I wouldn't do. And so the guys that coached me when I was in 7th grade, my high school coach, my college coach, and then the people that I competed against. You know, I would just keep a file, something that I liked or some question that I might ask. So I don't really have like a coaching guru because I think everybody has a nugget that we can beg, borrow, or steal.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. This has been great, Coach. This will be up, on YouTube for whoever wants to view it. Did you need a copy or anything like that? I mean, I don't know.
I'm good.
I figured you got it all here. So I'd love to come up at some point, maybe bring Jeff up. So hopefully we can get back in the gym sometime. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Let everybody stay safe. Stay safe. Stay strong. Ben,
Awesome.
Thank you for this opportunity.
No problem. It was an honor to have you on. So look forward to talking to you soon.
Yep. Stay in touch, please.
I will. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.